Hello everyone, Mondavu here, back with another quest tutorial. This time we are covering Hotsprings. And Hotsprings is very easy to see on the map. It is this and nothing else. It's a very small biome. But there's some unique, well, hello branch in my camera. There's some unique quest items in here. You've got your usual cactus in place of succulents. I think there's a branch quest, which we haven't encountered yet. And there's also salt rocks, which you might not know how a salt rock looks in the beginning. And it can be difficult to find. It's a rock that looks very similar to the environment, a slight gray rock with white striations on it. And because sometimes striations can be decorative, you might not always know what to look for. But here is what they look like. This is a salt rock. The white striations are going to be kind of obvious. You'll be able to eat from it, and this does not matter if you are carnivore or herbivore. You can eat from these. And there'll also be the smaller ones too. That's why I say it can be difficult to find them at first. Because it used to be that all the salt rocks were kind of almost boxy in shape. They would still have this texture on them with the gray and the white striations. But on Gondwa, they can be this size or this size, and so it's just a little bit of a pain to deal with. Now, in Hotsprings, what you can do is you collect salt from the rocks. So you'll be looking for these rocks. They only come in stacks of 5, so you're going to want to find all the rocks. But I'm also going to show you what happens when you eat from one of these. So I'm going to do the quest first so that we don't lose that. Because I don't quest often in Hotsprings. But we're going to do the quest first. And as you can see, now it just kind of looks like a normal rock. So that's another reason salt rocks can get easily missed. Is the more you quest from it, the further away from the resource you take. And since it's an edible resource, it has kind of a visual guide to it. So now we got to find more salt rocks. And I've chosen to stick with Aelioramus because he's taller. And he can still navigate this area pretty good. And Hotsprings is just, it's one of those locations I simply don't quest in often, so I'm not quite as familiar with it. The salt rocks, in my opinion, and from what I've noticed, apart from one area, and that is Green Hills, we'll cover that when we get there, they don't seem to have any particular place that they spawn at. So there's not really any a giveaway. You just kind of have to know what the rock looks like, and then search for it, which is here. See, I just stumbled upon this one. Which is why I say, you know, which is why I went into detail of this is what it looks like, because they're just hard to find. See, like right up in here, this kind of blends in with the environment. If I didn't know what to look for, I would be kind of screwed. There we go. Now, you can get group quests for salt rocks, and that can be a bit of a pain, because suddenly you're needing to collect 50. And salt rocks are not very plentiful no matter what biome you're in. Like, they're just really not very plentiful. So it's kind of one of those quests that doesn't do good in a group. Now, I've covered quests. Let's see if I can find a different salt rock so I can show you what happens when you eat from them. Because you can eat from these. If you're desperate for food, this is good to grab from. Because sometimes it's just hard to find a berry bush or a corpse or another player to become a corpse. Let's see if I can find me a salt rock. Those might be the only salt rocks. I'm not quite sure. Not quite sure. While I'm looking, I can cover the water in here. It's drinkable. It's safe. I know it doesn't look like it, but it's totally drinkable. And if you submerge yourself in it, you'll get this green mushroom. Well, the mushroom is red, actually, but like the rest of the icon is green. You'll get this Christmas shroom showing up. That means the water will heal you. So if you're ever on an official server hanging out in this area, you have a way to heal. But so does your opponent. And it is very common to fight in this area and abuse the heck out of that. It used to be that you would drink from the water and get that buff, and then there would be a timer, but now you have to actually have some level of submersion in there, and that was something that the devs did specifically to make that a bit more fair in the long run. So just be aware of that whenever you're hanging out on the official servers. If you come across someone in here, both you and your opponent can heal. Now, as you can see, the flower quest is another thing that we can do, because there's these red flowers. And in Hotsprings, the red flowers are the only ones that show up. And they can be a little difficult to find at first. I don't think Hotsprings is a great place for group quests. I really don't, because the items are finite. Now, that being said, what we have is branches. This is what the branches look like. Usually. Sometimes branches can be moss-covered as well. But in Hotsprings specifically, they're going to be dry. And no matter what kind of branch you get, they spawn in clumps of 6. And usually the tell with branches is you will look below dead trees. Almost all the trees in Hot Springs are dead, so you kind of have to scope them out a bit. I found some branches over here, below a dead tree. There's no specific dead tree that they're located at, but if you look beneath the dead trees, you will almost always find branches. It's just not going to be below every single dead tree, as you're seeing here. There's some more branches over there. And sometimes the branches can kind of hide a bit. Like, from this angle, that looks a little bit more like a decorative driftwood. But as I come closer, oh, okay, that's a pile of branches. And sometimes the branches can be a pain to line yourself up on to collect. So even though I'm having an easier time doing it here in my Aeleoramus, sometimes this is hard to do on my Deinonychus, or on my Kentro, or on any other dino. As sometimes the branches are just that level of stubborn. I only need one more pile, and even then I only need 2 branches. There we go. 1 and 2. And see, now we've got flowers, which we'll just be looking for the red ones for that in order to complete that quest. Now let me see if the salt rocks have replenished. They have a little bit. Oh yeah, this one's replenished most of the way. And you can usually tell because those white striations will start to come back. So we're gonna eat a little bit from this. It's gonna look weird, but we are gonna eat from it. And I'll show you what this does. See that icon right there? That means I'm getting dehydrated and rapidly, because that is what salt does. I have 2 minutes of dehydration for every time that I swallow a piece of salt. So while it's great if I'm starving, it's not so good if I am also dehydrating. If I'm dehydrating, that is bad. Thankfully, this salt rock is located next to some water, so I can just drink, and that will help with that. And if nothing else, it will at least keep your thirst meter full, so that as this counter ticks down, it doesn't do as much damage to you. So now we're going to look for flowers, which are the bright red things. And even though they are bright red, you can see I'm not actively seeing any here. They're not quite there. I think I got a glimpse of some over here, though. Yeah, there we go. A lot of this water is deep as well. Like the nice thing is you can see mostly to the bottom, so if anything's lurking in there, you can see it. But it makes navigation a little bit of a pain. That's weird. 2 of my flowers did not render. That's not normal, by the way. That's not normal. There's supposed to be 5 flowers there. So, yeah, just like in the other areas where there's red flowers, they spawn in clumps of 5. Doggone this weather. I don't want fog. You're supposed to stay clear. This place can also be difficult to navigate because I want to get up there. But this creature doesn't jump well. Even with Leap equipped, because I don't have that equipped right now on my Aelio, he just doesn't jump very high. So sometimes navigation in this area can be a little tumultuous. See, look at that. I collected... Okay, single-player quests are definitely bugged. I promise you that does not happen on multiplayer. You don't just randomly eat or collect like 3 flowers at once and then you're suddenly collecting invisible items. That's definitely a single-player glitch. But single player is great for tutorials like this one, so that's how that's going to work. Yeah, see, 2, and then it's gone, and then this does not happen on servers. I promise that does not happen on servers. It just doesn't. It's weird that it does that in single player. There we go. And a lot of this is just running around and finding it because, you know, bright red flowers, that's obviously part of the flower quest. And the succulents are easier to spot because most of them are cactus. Like, there's both succulents and cactus in this area, but you can see the cactus very easily. There's 3 clumps right there. That is a good chunk of your quest for that, which is probably going to be the next quest that we get. Let's see. Red flowers. Red flowers. Here we go. Oh, hey, there's another salt rock. That one I didn't even know was there. There we go. And yep, succulents. Thankfully, because it's just cactus as well, you don't have to worry about running around for these. These are very easy to spot, especially considering how prevalent they are in this area. Come on. You see, it's doing that weird visual thing on me again. Again, I promise that does not happen on servers. You can see every individual cactus go away. Oh, well, come on now. I think my computer just doesn't like that I am rendering and recording at the same time. Which, normally if you render stuff, don't do what I'm doing. I'm doing this because I'm not making like some super high quality product. This is just, hey, here's a hopefully helpful video for my cousin. So, and that should be one more. But yeah, cactus are everywhere in Hotsprings, so this is the easiest quest to get. Come on. Come on. There we go. And just like that, Hotsprings is complete. And I will see you guys in the next video.